Sounds good. All right. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Lauren. Thanks
Oh
for
my
having
gosh.
me as a guest.
Welcome to Conspirareality. So this week, Jessica cannot be here, so we have Kate who's gonna help us out. Big Bravo fan, though, right, Kate?
Big Bravo fan. I started my reality scene in the Bachelor franchise, which has become notoriously boring. And so Lauren pulled me over to Bravo, mainly because of this podcast, and I had to know what she was talking about. And I ended up watching, I think, all of Summer House and all of Southern Charm in the last 4 months. Like I have caught up majorly, and it's been a very educational experience, to say the least. And then I'm just dipping my toes into Housewives.
Yes, and rightfully so. Kate and I were just talking that Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is probably the most boring out of the three, which I'm like, preach, girl. Beverly Hills women need a shakeup. Let's
Well,
just say that.
the same storyline over and over. You got, but Lauren, what's the one I should listen to? Like, what's the best one?
Salt Lake. I think anybody who is listening to this podcast would agree. It's full of like, ear catching moments where you're like, what?
Well,
Those Mormons.
I watched one episode once of Salt Lake, and it was like some lady going to jail, and I was like, what is happening right now? How does it? What is like? This isn't supposed to happen.
The Mormons have a lot of weird stuff going on over there. And then the non Mormons also do too. It's very odd. But anyway, I recommend that one. Beverly Hills, we'll get to it, but we're not going to spend a ton of time on that. So the order tonight we're going to do is Summer House and then Southern Charm. So let's start with Summer House. Now, we missed 2 episodes ago, so I'm going to touch briefly on that, but we won't make that the whole convo. But I will say that, we're kind of in the thick of Kyle and Paige and their drama around, Spritz Society versus is it Spritz Society or what is
I
the
have no
one that
idea what it's called. I've never registered the name.
and Loverboy. But I did think it was nice when so they basically made up on the beach, right? And I thought that was nice. I thought that really cute, like a genuine friendship between the two of them, like that they were able to like patch things up. And Paige, was saying that basically she doesn't like to be in the middle, which Kyle understands, and he's trying to like not recreate the Hannah situation, right? Now on the after show, it's really interesting because at this point, Paige and Craig have broken up and they're spilling all the tea, Kate. And so now when we hear Paige's side around all of this, right, it's like interesting because I feel like Paige has a little bit of a different take, which is that Craig is like, kind of makes a lot of things about him. And she was actually having panic attacks, thinking about certain things that he was like making about him during their relationship.
I just discovered the after show for the record. Like I just started watching it. Wait, first of all, I love it because you get so much extra tea and you get like
So much.
actually what
So
you want
much.
to hear from them.
Yes, yes.
So now I'm very invested. But I totally agree. Like Paige basically said, like, no, 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 Craig, you were causing these anxiety attacks because like my life was fine. And then I would get rage texts by Kyle that you screwed something up, Craig, or you made it about yourself. And I will say, I know a lot of people have still been like kind of team Craig. I've been in the middle because Paige has sounded like very angry on the podcast lately. And I've been like, what is happening? But the last few episodes of Southern Charm and Summer House have kind of really pushed me towards Paige. I'm a giggler like through and through, but like,
Oh, you are?
oh yeah, I went to their show or whatever.
I did too. I did too.
I didn't know that.
Wait, so I need to hear your thoughts about that. So, and we're going to take some big deviation here, but so people are saying that the Giggly Squad show is not worth the cost of it. It's like too much Hannah. Paige seems very checked out. It's recycled jokes. What did you think when you went?
It was a lot of recycled content from their
Yeah,
podcast. Like if you're
right.
up to speed on your podcast, you're like, oh, I heard that, I heard that, I heard that, which like is actually harder for them because you're not gonna get unique laughs. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we haven't heard it, we've already heard it for the first time. It was a lot of Hannah, but I think like I did the dates back and our show was like middle of her anxiety attacks, like before her beta blockers. So I think she was checked out because she was like literally having a panic attack in San Francisco.
Interesting. Yeah, and then did you see on the after show that she basically attributes those panic attacks to Craig, like because he put so much pressure on her, basically?
And he's a baby. I mean, I like have so much more appreciation for like why she ended the relationship now cuz she's like I've changed so much and I mean, we'll get to it, but in Southern Charm he says like I would have moved for her all this and it's like, yeah, but she already had to take care of you, Craig. Like why would she want a baby with someone when she feels like she already is taking care of a baby. And I feel like he was just whining a lot.
I agree. And the other thing I'll say to you, so they have their, this another kind of part of the episode two ago, they have that conversation in the New York restaurant, right? And he's like sitting there saying, like, where do I fit? I've never been in a relationship where I've been so submissive. And I think if as public, right, which is why we should never have opinions on this, if you see that once, you're like, Paige is kind of being a bitch. But if Craig is saying that multiple times, every single time that you have some little bit of success in your career, he's constantly bringing it back to that. I'd be like, dude, get off of it. Let's move on. We're done. Like, we're either together, we're not. Like, what do you want?
It just like is giving off, I don't know where he is in his family, but it's giving off like spoiled prince in his family. You know what I mean? Like that he
Yeah.
always got what he wanted.
Right.
And I have 3 boys, so I'm like, how do my kids not end up like Craig? Well, actually, that's all I think about when I watch anything on Bravo. I'm like, how do they not end up like Kyle? How do they not end up like Craig? How do they not end up like West? But
Right.
that's all that's going through my head. I loved the after show because you like finally realize like, no, Paige is just like a level-headed woman who was like, I don't want to take care of a baby, a man child
Man
anymore.
child. Yes. Okay. So then let's move on. So let's move to Lexi and Jesse. So I just want to hear your 30 seconds on Lexi, just as a human to start.
I like Lex. Lexi is so cute. She actually is playing really well. She's not starting drama. She seems like super innocent. I know she's like dated all these famous people, and I wonder if she dated them because she has this relationship sex rule, like where she won't have sex until relationship. So that's why she
Right,
has all these
right,
famous
right.
people that are like, oh, I want to
That's
have
a
sex with
good
you. Let's
that's a
be
good rule I have. That's a good
yeah.
rule I have.
Yeah, they're like, oh, let's be boyfriend girlfriend. She's like, okay. I like her. I like her as a person. I think Jesse's just going to destroy her or whatever they have is going to destroy both of them because like Jesse was just like excited for a hot chick. I don't think he meant to sign himself up for a full-blown
And
relationship.
you know what? It's funny you say that because what was he? He was dating like four different girls when Lexi was kind of like saying to him, "We got to be exclusive or else." I would love to be those four other girls, being like, "What the heck?" Like watching it play out on like reality TV because he's such a like fuck boy, I would say, in the sense of like how many people he's dating, and he's so focused on looks, right? Like him and Sierra, like he's so focused on how hot Sierra is. It's so
You're
crazy.
so right.
Right.
I want those girls to have a podcast. I want to hear what they have to say about this whole situation.
They love him, and I'm like, I think Kate, this is gonna be the season that Jesse actually has a little bit of a downfall because he's just doing too much and then acting like, oh, I'm so lovable. I'm the lovable Jesse. I gas up my girls. And I'm like, I'm not buying any of this, dude.
I'm interested to see where it goes because like last season no stone could be thrown at him because he like his whole cancer thing and whatnot, and
Yeah.
which like I'm so happy he's cancer clear, but like no one was ever going to talk bad about him,
Yes.
and I feel
Right.
like people are still not talking that bad about him, but
Yes.
he's about to screw things up, it seems.
I agree. And I feel like he's just like think back to all the men we've dated, Kate. Like he just embodies all of the toxic traits like as one human being.
I know.
Ghoster, love bomber, all of it. I'm
Him
anyway.
and West are like my 20-year-old dream and my 30-year-old worst nightmare. Does that make sense? Like I would have loved them. I would have been like, I need to be hanging out with them all the time. I need them to fall in love with me. I would have hooked up with both of them. And then my 30-year-old self was like, realize about life. I'd be like, oh, don't come near
Stay
me.
away. Stay away. Stay away, Lord. I totally agree with that. The other thing I want to say with Lexi and Jesse, so Lexi does have this like moment 2 episodes ago where she's like causing a little bit of insecurity, I think, in herself. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody's causing this about her boobs and saying like Jesse's a boob guy and I don't have big boobs. And that's the one moment of Lexi Kate that I'm like, no, 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 we're not gonna do this. Like you have 1 million followers, you've made your career off of your looks. I'm sorry, I have a lot of empathy to give these days to people, but I don't have any empathy to give you on your looks, Lexi. Like you've clearly really made it your
I
personal.
totally agree. And I get the modeling agency just like completely destroys your sense of self-worth
Right.
and whatnot. But she is more jealous than a normal person's jealousy. Like that she didn't like his comments to like if she's watched any of the show, then she would know he's just joking. He's not like gonna hook up with Paige. He's not gonna hook up with Sierra. I mean, maybe well,
Yes.
but she's extra jealous. I will also say one other thing on her looks completely unrelated. But do you think her lips are naturally lined or is she putting on liner every day? Like it is driving me nuts. I tried to go so far back on her Instagram and I could not find a picture without her lips lined.
So I have heard that she basically, first of all, she's become an influencer for those, those lip things that you like put on and
I
you
bought
like
it.
peel
I bought
off.
it literally this week. It actually works. It's great.
Okay, recommend, got it. So she
We
became an
should get sponsored
influencer for
by
that.
them.
And
Yeah.
then everyone was writing underneath like, "Oh, Lexi, we know that's not what you we know that you don't like put that on your lips. Like you just physically draw the liner on each time." Now
Yeah.
she has done like a story where she'll say like, "Here's my old yearbook photo to show you like my lips and like that I've never gotten anything done to them." But clearly the liner, she must line that every
So
single
she's just lined for like her entire life and she can't go out of the house without lining.
day.
It's driving me insane. I want to see her natural lips.
Well, we do get a couple shots when she wakes up in the morning, like, and she's sitting down at, like, breakfast with no makeup on.
Okay.
But I also don't remember them being super big. So maybe
Well,
she
when
just
you
like
line, that's like the whole Kylie Jenner thing. There's like a optical illusion, and you can like
right,
overline them and make them bigger.
right,
That,
right.
yeah, that I believe
Clearly,
in.
she's doing all that.
Yeah. But anyway, Lexi and Jesse. Oh well, you said in one of the podcasts that they break up. I hadn't like looked it up yet, but now I assume that
I think
they
just out of the
break up.
summer. I mean, it's Jesse. He's like the shiny object guy. He's like whatever's like next in front of me. Maybe him and
Yeah.
Sierra date. All right. I also want to hear your thoughts on Danielle and Lindsay. We don't get much of Lindsay this episode. Oh, because she said home with Turner, her boyfriend. But last episode we had Danielle out there, right? Who was being so shady to Lindsay in her confessionals. It's like, dude, even Paige isn't even that shady, and Paige and Lindsay have never liked each other. But the convo of Danielle sitting there on the beach with Lindsay and kind of saying, you know, he's not living with you.
Yeah.
I was curious to your thoughts because Kate's a mom of three. So, I mean, there's some truth to that, right? You want your man around to help you with it. But Danielle, like, why are you talking about this? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, my first thought is like, wait, are they just not friends? Like your friend would know. You guys aren't friends, obviously. Or you like what? You save this information to talk about it on the show?
Right, 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 right.
Because like we would
Totally.
know if you're living together.
Yes, right, right,
But
right.
I actually feel like Lindsay, for once, because she's not drinking, is like very level-headed this whole
Yes,
season.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. And mom looks really good on Lindsay. Like it's a really good look on her. Like she's just feels like totally even. The other thing I was gonna say is that also this is the first time I think Lindsay's seeing someone who's like actually a quality human being, not some like, reality TV star. He's a doctor, I think. His name is Turner, right? And
I have
like
no clue what he is. I tried to find info. There's very little info on him.
he's like super private. And it's like all of a sudden that does wonders for Lindsay where there's no like how do you look versus how do I look versus how do we look? It's just he's nowhere to be found.
Although it sort of makes Lindsay boring.
I know.
Pregnant. I mean, she's boring as a pregnant woman as well. I was boring as we're all boring as pregnant women.
Totally.
Pregnant women really like maybe they're their own reality TV show, but not like Summer House reality TV show. It's not the
Yeah.
vibe, which now I get like Jesse's look at the beginning of the summer when she announced her
Right.
pregnancy, and he's like, why is she here? Jesse's like, I'm just trying to hook up with everyone. And she's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
I'm
I'm
trying to
having a
have
baby.
a
And they leave
summer.
that picture up like all summer, which is also kind of
I
weird.
know. No one wants to take it down, right? Because no one
I
wants
know
to
it's
piss her
offensive.
off. Right, right.
So,
So let's talk about that Bailey for 1 second. So more drama has come out about her. I don't know if you've seen this.
oh, I haven't.
Okay, so part one was she was caught spilling storylines. Like she went back home to New York, her friends, and basically told everyone what was going on. Part number two is that the guy, remember she had like the guy's suitcase and she's like seeing him, but not really seeing him. That was the vibe. That's actually her like boyfriend, like
Like,
serious
oh,
boyfriend.
yeah.
And apparently Amanda and like the cast like confronted her like why didn't you tell us he was your boyfriend? And that was like another reason why she like just like ghosted the production. It was originally said that like, I feel like she was pushed away, but now it feels like she actually just like stopped showing up. She's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Which I don't this seems so silly. It's like what
Well,
who
she
cares?
obviously didn't reveal that she had a boyfriend because she wanted a storyline on Summer House. That's
Interesting. Yeah,
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 because
yeah.
she thought if I'm single, it's going to play better. I also heard that Molly might have a boyfriend, but now I don't think that anymore. Like Molly from Southern Charm.
Interesting.
But now I don't know what to think. But like, of course, you're gonna say you don't have a boyfriend so you can get on the show. Also, I find it very shocking that more tea isn't spilled during the shooting. Like how that she got in trouble for telling her friends. If I was on a reality TV show, my friends would know everything. Like while it's happening, I'd be like live texting them. I can't imagine like keeping that as a secret.
I know. Well, the other thing I was going to say about Bailey is like she is actually, I mean, she's an influencer, nowhere near Lexi Wood status, who's got a
Who is
million
she?
followers. Yeah, but she's got 50,000 followers. Like she's clearly trying to make social media a thing. So to
Yeah.
your point, she may have actually wanted to be on the show because of trying to boost
Yeah.
her following.
How much her following jumped just from the first 2 episodes.
I know. I'm never savvy enough to track that, but I would.
You know what I actually, this is total tangent, but you know what I really actually liked about Bailey is that she is like one of those people who looks better with a ponytail. I don't know if you noticed, I actually preferred her with a ponytail in the first few episodes than with her hair down. That's very rare.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the next episode. So this is the one that happened this week. So I want to start though with you with Carl's date who's coming out there. Like, so Carl has not had. I mean, he admits to us, right? He's not had sex for an entire year, and now he's got this date coming out to the house, and her name is Lil. She
Okay.
and she's a yoga instructor.
I saw that.
And she seems kind of quirky, but
She
the one
seems, it's an interesting take for Craig, for,
I agree. It doesn't seem his type at all. He reminds me so much, Kate, of Ben from Bachelor, which you'll appreciate because you did Bachelor. Like, remember Ben and Lauren? Like, and how Ben found this beautiful, like, religious, like, very conservative kind of girl. That feels like who Carl's going to end up with, is like someone
yeah.
like that. But
She
not this
seems like
quirkster.
very like alternative. Also, like being called a lemur is not a compliment.
No, not a compliment at all. The one part, though, I
Both
wanted,
kind of give lemur energy. Like I was like, well, she kind of is giving lemur
like,
energy too.
could be his sister, Lemur Energy.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
kind of look similar. Wait, that's what I'm picking up on. Maybe they're both like tall, dark hair, like
Like
similar, yeah,
kind of
complexion.
awkward. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so one thing I wanted to ask you though is she slid into his DMs, which he mentions that. I feel like women nowadays never admit when they are the ones that slide into someone's DMs. Like it'd be the equivalent like back in our day when we didn't have Instagram, when we were trying to date. If you texted the guy first, that was like way lower currency than if the guy texted you first.
right,
And
yeah,
I kind of feel like the DMs are the same thing. Like if you're sliding into someone's DMs, it feels like that you're kind of like approaching them
yeah.
and then he capitalized on it, so they were dating. But I don't know if you caught that or thought anything of it. I just was like, so we can do this?
Didn't
Don't
he
we?
sit next to her parents at a date?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But and then she slid into his DMs.
Right. Right.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes
I
more sense.
remember that. Yes.
So that's how she got cut through the noise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. 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 But I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, dang, should I be sliding to someone's DMs? Oh wait, I'm married. Oh wait, I'm married.
Lauren, can I tell you how many times I've tried to slide into Selena Gomez's DMs? She never responds to me. I don't know how people get responded to by celebrities. It is driving me nuts.
Speaking of that, I tried to slide into Andy Cohen's DMs after he did his New Year's Eve performance, and people were giving him hate because he got too drunk. And I said, "We love you, Andy Cohen. Like, don't stop." He didn't respond.
Yeah, I ghosted. They're just ghosting us out here. I'd be like over the moon if a celebrity responded to my DMs.
Okay, let's continue on. So we have Wes and Jesse have a quick discussion on Sierra. Like, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on Wes this season. Wes and Sierra are in worse shape than Lindsay and Carl are, and it's like they had like a situationship, like on a good day. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
well, maybe more than that. But what
but
do you think?
still, first of all, like I understand Wes is trying to play it safe. He is boring as all hell because of
My
that.
God.
He has no
Yes.
storyline. There's
I
nothing
mean,
happening.
I literally wrote in my notes. He's totally gun shy. He doesn't want to talk about anything. Like
No, he
anything.
can't. Yeah, he's
Anything.
not making any jokes. He's not talking about anything. Like he's out. He if he doesn't pick up his act, he could get cut.
No, he's swung the opposite direction way too hard. Also, he's kind of blowing up at Complex. I just was looking at my notes. Like, it seems like he actually has quite a legitimate job. He's actually like, what is he on the dating show at Complex?
Oh, he's doing like what that other girl does, like where he takes someone on a fake date and asks them interview questions, I think.
Yes, yes, yes. And he and
So maybe he
so why
doesn't
would
need this anymore.
but why also why would you not want to cross promote a little bit? I'm sure Complex is like, talk about it. Like, get us free publicity like in the Bravo world.
I mean, talk about cross promoting. They never really talk about. They never say the name of their show or even the name of Southern Charm. Like, you know what I mean? Even though it's like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
you're both on Bravo reality shows.
I'm sure Bravo editors like clip it out. Like they're like,
Right.
we're not going to give Complex any free publicity. They're like minute 30 to minute 31. Like clip that.
Right,
Make sure
exactly.
you
Yeah.
can't talk
But
about
no, because of that, he's boring. He won't tell anyone who he's mysteriously hooking up with.
And is that a thing? Do we think, or do we think that people are just poking the bear at that point?
No, I think he's hooking up with someone.
Okay, but I also think it seems like everyone is pushing Wes really hard, almost to like make it a thing between him and Sierra. Like when Danielle's sitting there going like, "Did you go to Bone Zone in the kitchen?" Like when they come down the next morning, I'm like, "Leave it. He doesn't want to
Leave
talk
it.
about it. He's trying to be respectful to Sierra."
And he's doing a good job being respectful. Like he is being respectful to Sierra.
Agreed.
Sierra's also has no storyline. Does anybody have a storyline here? It's just
No,
Paige.
I've seen a really hot take on Sierra recently that like she's becoming really not well liked, and I think Paige is rubbing off on her a little bit in some of that. But I don't know what you think. It's just if you remember Sierra back in the days of like when Summer House filmed COVID Summer with Luke and Hannah Burner, right? She was actually very sweet. She was a very sweet girl, and she just feels now like she's gotten so.
Sassy.
Yes, and, like, kind of, the world has done her wrong, and therefore,
Yeah.
like, she's done with the world,
Yeah.
and it's a little pagey, I don't
Yeah.
know, but I
I
feel
totally
real.
believe that. Paige has that like good, like kind of New York quick wit sass.
Yes, yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
she's also tired. She was on the Traders right before this.
right,
And
right,
that went for a while.
yeah, and she kinda stayed on that for a while too,
She
I
did,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she said it was emotionally exhausting because like you would cry every day.
I just don't think she was cut out for it too, like, I don't see Sierra as somebody who wakes up and, like, has the self-motivation to, like, wanna find the traitor, I think she's more like, "Let me sit by the
Yeah.
pool in my
Yeah,
bikini."
me
It's much more.
too.
Okay, so let's see. Group dinner in the kitchen. They have a pizza party for Amanda's birthday. Jesse really, I think Lexi's gone, right? This episode, and he really seems to lay it on very heavy with Sierra. Like rolls up next to her, next to that. Later on, we see him in the pool. He like lays on her clearly to like what feel her like boobs right up on his like chest. I don't know what you think on that, but if I was Wes, I would be like, "What are you doing? Like, stay away."
Well, I didn't even think of it from West's perspective. I was just thinking like once this airs, Lexi will be pissed, but it sounds like they already broke up, so like I guess it doesn't matter. Maybe she heard about it. Well, no, I think scenes from the next, Jesse admits to Sierra that like he wanted to hook up with her, but West did first.
Saw that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I
so
saw that. But it's
is
not.
it fair game? Can they? I mean, they all hook up with each other.
I
Everyone's hooked up
know,
with
right?
Carl, apparently.
But it's too incestuous. I mean, that's his bro. Kate, that would be like, you and me. Like that would not work. I mean,
We haven't
he
done that? No. Maybe
fake.
we'd have to think back.
That's a fake. No, it's
Yeah.
job cards. Yeah. So last episode two, just going back one. So before this most recent, do you remember Jesse kind of walks into Sierra's room and like is like debriefing with her about I think Lexi and how Lexi's a little bit jealous, all this stuff, and Lexi literally walks past the door, and Sierra goes, "Oh, she just." She just walked past, but doesn't like shut the door or like lower her
Or
volume of
stop
her phone.
talking. I was like, you guys don't know what to do about this.
I know. That I thought was a little disrespectful. Like, I think Lexi is like gonna come out of like the woodwork and be like, I don't trust you guys. I don't think she's got anything to worry about with Sierra. But that also is like, come on, girl. Like, at least shut the door. Like, show Lexi a little bit of respect in the sense of like,
Right. I think
not
being the
just
new
talking about
girl, and
her.
now that she's actually the only new girl because Bailey's not there, like I get the insecurities. Is like, is everyone making fun of me? Is everyone like doing stuff behind my back? Like they're all real friends and I'm the new girl, and like
Right,
she's
right.
not close with all the other girls. Like I think she's supposed to be friends with Amanda, but that's it. Yeah.
Friends with Amanda. It's like they
Right.
met once at a party. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so back to the pizza dinners. We have Kyle start to broach the subject with Craig of like, let's go out and talk. And Craig's like not having any of it, right? Now, on the after show, I saw that Kyle actually had a big long text message with Craig right before and said, let's just get this out of the way. Let's talk about it first. And Craig wrote like a thumbs up back. And then they get to the dinner and Craig's like, no, I want to wait till tomorrow.
Craig is giving spoiled brat.
Spoiled brat. I totally
Like he
agree.
never had to do anything he didn't want to do.
Especially because on Southern Charm, JT tries to do that where he says, "I want to talk about this later. I don't want to talk about this now," and Craig doesn't let him. I mean,
No, also Craig's like, well, I don't want to talk about it now. And I feel like, first of all, when I hate when people use that argument, because it's like, well, you guys could use that argument for the rest of time. Is like,
right?
well, I'm not ready. Well, I'm not ready. Well, I'm not ready. And it's like, okay.
Yes,
I think Kyle actually came across as like mature and Craig came across as like a baby. But I also get like what Paige is saying. I'd just be like, you are making my life harder by having beef with my friend. She's known Kyle longer than she's known Craig. And then like Craig won't even clear the air.
I know. All right, so last part, let's talk about the pirate party. So first of all, this is the theme was like very intense. Like did Carl pay for that boat?
It felt like it was probably like $50,000. Like just like all the stuff they had, that boat and all the, I
And
don't know.
like the thing I will give Carl a lot of credit for is like while Paige goes up and sits in bed with her like bed bugs, Carl goes out and he's sober and he's going out. I mean,
Yeah.
so he's clearly trying to put himself out there.
Yeah. Well, but not enough because like I'm sure he has lots of DMs and he didn't have sex.
All right, last note on the pirate party because there wasn't a ton that happened there, but so back to Sierra. Sierra and her outfit is the bird outfit. It's
She
just
did
like
the bird recently, years ago.
she always does an outfit that's like very true to theme, but like is not sexy. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
exactly.
And I love her for it, but I also think it's truly hindering her from like finding a man, to be
I
honest.
think you're right. No, she does. She goes all out. She's done birds twice, like a bird like that twice. Because I'm catching up on all the seasons. And I mean, she is naturally incredibly sexy, so she could.
Right.
She actually comes across sort of as like asexual.
Yeah.
Like I was surprised she had chemistry with West.
The other thing too I'll say is like we know Halloween costumes, like Halloween costumes can make anything sexy, like sexy hot dog, like sexy lamp. She could do bird sexy Kate. She
Sexy
could,
bird.
but she's not.
She
She's like doing it
refuses.
like to like National Geographic, like well, let me black out the eyes because the
I
birds
don't
have.
know. It still confuses me. How many seasons has she been on and she still has to work as a nurse? Like she needs a better manager.
Anyway, let's go into Southern Charm.
Yes.
So again, we missed both episodes, so I'll weave some of that in from like the 2 episodes ago. But let's see. The big thing that's happening right now is Vanita and JT and their conversation around if JT said some black girl is into me to his barber. I think everyone is like, this reads so obvious to me of what happened that that stupid barber caused a bunch of gossip.
Yeah, the barber said some black girl. JT
No.
said this cute black girl is into
Yes.
me. And then the barber said some black girl is into JT. Like
It's
guys,
so obvious to everyone except for
obvious.
the cast. It's like the barber is the one to blame. Neither JT nor
No.
Ryan.
No, also the barber on the phone said, I don't know if you caught it, but at one point he goes, I'm sorry if I'm the one who relayed it wrong.
Yes.
Yeah, you did.
I know you're the problem, dude.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if you're seeing what JT is posting recently, but he's like
No.
he's trying to literally counter argue everything that has come up on the show. And one of the things that I think that's recent, although people could say no, this was from a past thing, is he actually posted a dinner with his mom, his girlfriend, and Vanita recently, like a day or two ago. So I think he's trying to show the world like everything is fine. But
But the
I mean,
timeline is confusing.
yes.
I'm also not interested in it, but it's like Vanita and JT, they almost get together or they do date. Like the after credits said that they dated for a little bit and then they broke up and then he got with this girl. But it sounds like this girl was kind of like always there,
Around. Mhm,
maybe
mhm.
texting and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also
I
don't care.
I it just feels like JT like screwed up. If I was talking to this dude and we weren't exclusive, but we weren't, we weren't formally dating, whatever it may be, right? If I were the girl watching this show, I would be pissed at him. Like that's the bottom line. It's like we don't care like what happened when or who said what to who when. It's just like because I think it's the same girl. I thought it was two different girls, but I think it's the same girl
I
throughout.
think it's the same girl, and he probably like put that girl on ice and said, I'm gonna be with Vanita for a little bit and then
Right.
came back. Yeah.
It doesn't make him look good no matter what. Okay, and let's see, Shep and Molly. So I want to hear your thoughts about this. Shep like basically is now broken up with Sienna and calls up Molly to like ask her on a date. I felt really happy that Molly was like, well, I know him and Sienna just broke up, but then it feels like she still like threw caution to the wind and like went in for the kiss and went in as though they were actually on a date. I don't know what you thought about that.
I have so many thoughts. My
Okay.
first thought is like, does she actually like him? Like, I know it's like, oh my God, Molly likes Shep, Molly likes Shep. Does she actually like him or does she just want to stay on the show for a little bit longer?
It's kind of embarrassing that is getting pushed on him and he clearly has like no interest in her in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a hard plot to try and curate up for yourself if it was just for the show, just to stay around.
Yeah. In her. I mean, I'm glad he got knocked on his butt by Sienna. I saw Sienna and she was like, "Oh, everyone's making me out to be the villain." I'm like, "I'm not sure you're the villain. Everyone's just like Shep you didn't like him, and Shep was being a creepy old man who wouldn't let it go.
Right. The only thing that Sienna did that I falter for is that she's just stayed around for a little too long. Like, I don't think she should have come to that last dinner in the Bahamas.
Right.
Like, I think she shouldn't have taken the necklace. Like, I just think that last kind of moment there was just too much. Like, she was
Imagine if Shep, just for a second, imagine if Shep does not have a reality TV show.
I
And
know.
there is a 45-year-old man, won't stop texting you, told you you're in love, gave you a shark necklace,
Seems to
invited
be
all his friends to
wealthy.
your hometown.
Yes, seems to be wealthy, but not
Like, I would be calling the
not spending any
police.
money. Yeah, I agree, and you just know he's bad in bed. You just know it.
Well, that's what Taylor said.
Really?
Yeah, at one point she said that, like, she never finished with him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just not shocking to me at all. Not shocking to me.
No.
All right, so one thing I want to go back to that I forgot was Paige and Craig and the drop off, and it's so it's like so telling, but also like so small that we're like watching them, and she says, "Do you think this is going to be the last like time I see you?" Like
When she said, they both said, it feels like we're out of sync. And you're like,
Yeah.
ooh, I've been there in that I've been out of sync with someone, and that means you guys are about to break up.
Well,
Yeah.
and for the viewers, right? And these episodes are literally overlapping with each other. I'm sure the production teams are like, oh, this is really because there's two separate production teams, right? I'm sure this is really telling of their relationship. And but it's like this production team found that conversation there. This production team found that conversation there. It's like they're now we've heard that conversation like 25 times. She wants to begin her career. He wants kids. We know there's no mystery to this.
I'm very curious, like, do you think they went back and edited extra after the breakup news? Because the shows hadn't come out yet. So do you think they called
I'm
up their
sure.
editors and they're like, get back in the office, find
feel like-
everything you can?
I feel like the car scene was not at all like needed for the plot of Southern
Yeah,
Charm.
that's a
And
good
that
point,
was when
yeah.
they added back in, for
Yeah.
sure.
Totally.
Okay, so then we get to the soiree.
I'll just say it
Soiree.
whenever it comes up.
So
Just call it a
let's
party.
see. What are your thoughts on Ryan?
Wait, first of all, has Ryan always been a character, a cast member?
No, he's new.
I was like, who is Ryan?
He's new this year, and people really have very like bipolar opinions on him. Like a lot of people do not like him, like do not want him back. Like keep saying like, "Bravo, stop trying to make Ryan a thing. He's not a thing."
I mean, he's
I don't know.
handsome.
I think he's fine. I mean, he seems smart to me. He seems like he didn't want to make that conversation a big dramatic reality TV moment. He wanted to just literally mend something with Vanita.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's got
I
good
didn't
eyebrows.
realize he was someone I was supposed to be paying attention to until the barbershop thing. And I was like, oh, he's not a friend. He's a real character.
Friend upgrade. Yeah. He had a little bit of that. Let's see here. So Taylor and Sally also have a little dust up at the
I feel
soiree.
like that's just so that they stay on the show.
That felt very for TV, don't you think? And
I told you to keep my name out of your mouth.
Yeah, right. And then the other thing too on Taylor is like, I just am so sick of people who don't bring their significant others on the show. But Gaston, like they didn't even make an excuse of why Gaston wasn't there. They just literally like shot right past that. Which, sometimes they try and I think do these characters favors, the production teams, by like giving an excuse. Oh, this is why I can't come. Like they don't even do that anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's not filming with us.
Well,
like,
I actually do have a question. Is Taylor a main cast member? Like, didn't she just come on because of Shep and then she became permanent, even though they broke up?
That's how, if you ask Miss Patricia, Kate, that's how all the women have come on, is they've all usually come on as someone's, like Madison.
Oh, right, because it's supposed to be, this is the reality show about the boys. Like, the boys are the main characters.
Right.
They're the real housewives of
the women come and go. Yeah, that's what Miss Patricia said. So Madison is like, she was Austin's girlfriend. That's how she came on the show. Love Madison.
Yeah.
Can I ask you one question though, Madison? Madison to me feels like she is Miss Southern Belle when she's with her husband, Brett. Soft-spoken, wouldn't hurt a fly, makes pies. And then when she's with the boys of Southern Charm, she's like, dropping the head. Yeah, witty, like sassy, like yelling at people. I'm like, this Madison feels like she is actually the version that we see on Southern Charm, but she is still a little bit like new into her marriage, like,
Yeah. Like
Miss Southern.
Well, and you heard the conversation with her mom, and her mom basically confirmed that she's always been that way. She's always been the Spitfire.
That's right.
Yeah. And her grandpa said, just let her be that way.
Yeah, right.
So no, and I love Madison. Madison makes the show. But then Taylor in an interview somewhere, I don't know where, said like someone said, "Do you think you'd be on like Southern Hospitality more?" Which I'm also up to speed on.
Yeah, great.
And she was like, "Yeah, those are actually my friends."
100%, a
She's like,
hundred
she basically
percent.
implied that she's not friends with these people.
No, and she actually appears on Southern Hospitality, like, she's good friends
Yeah,
with TJ, one of the main characters.
yeah.
It's like,
She
switch
seems like she's
Sal.
friends with a lot of the gays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, switch Sally, switch Taylor, let's just make that no, I don't think anyone even, like we don't even need a storyline to make that
right.
feel right, like, just do it, Bravo, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? I
exactly.
totally agree. The last thing I wanted to say on Molly and Shep, and I want to just hear your thoughts because you and I have done so many years together of dating. Like, I think you would actually really agree with this. Molly feels very uncouth compared to Shep. Like, for what he wants, like, she talks about masturbating
Yeah.
on screen. She talks about having sex. She flicks off the group after she kisses Shep. Like, I feel like Molly is too
Irie.
yes, like a little too to make it actually work.
No,
Now,
Shep, first of all, Shep has issues. He's a man child. He doesn't know what he wants, but I think you're right. I think he wants like he wants Taylor. Actually, Taylor would have been perfect, but
yeah,
he was
right.
really mean to her.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's my conspiracy, Kate, is that he is just trying to constantly fill a Taylor-sized hole in his heart because he just,
Yeah.
he actually screwed that one up
He really
massively.
screwed up with Taylor.
Anyway, the last piece on Southern Charm. So after the breakup, they pick up cameras. As we go to the after the breakup, Craig shares that he designed a ring. Paige tells him like, hold off. I think that should have been the highest red flag ever waving in his face. That she says go buy the ring, and then she says hold off.
I also like maybe it's just how Paige communicates with everyone, or maybe it's how they both communicate, but like every time they communicate, I'm like, do they like each other? Like I
Yeah,
just never see I've never been like, oh, they're in love. Do you know what I
right.
mean? I'm always
Yeah.
like I can see it with like Amanda and Kyle, like some moments in the morning when he'll like kiss her before he goes for a run, like you can actually
Yes.
see it. But
Right.
I wasn't ever very sure. Yeah, and lots of red flags, Craig. He also said that he offered to move to New York and she said no.
Yeah, right. Because she said you would resent me, which again is like the highest red flag waving about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least try it. See if he resents you and then if it doesn't work, move back.
Right. Anything else on Southern Charm?
No, those are my final words. I'm sad that it's over. They probably need a little bit more new drama next year though.
It just was so interesting to see Shep, Mr. Ladies Man, be such a train wreck for so many episodes. But the other thing I'll say is I don't think JT's going to film with them next year. So
Oh,
truly, they don't have anything unless
good.
somebody new comes up.
Unless it's like gonna be the Craig storyline because like
Right.
now he's dating.
Maybe the
That's
like
that's the
Lost Boys are back
moneymaker.
together. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Love it. All right, let's touch on Beverly Hills real quick because it is the most it's the most boring for those that are fans.
I have
I
so many
hard to get through.
questions. I have so
Okay.
many questions. Or just like I'm just a little confused and lost, but I only watched 2.5 episodes.
All right. Well, I mean, let me just hit you with a few questions and I want to get your thoughts as an outsider. Bose, what do you think of her?
Is she new?
Yes, brand new.
Okay, so she's trying to establish her spot. She's like
Yes.
trying to come up with things to talk about, I think.
So she's
I
my
like
fan
her as a
favorite.
person. She
Oh,
seems awesome. I don't think I am not a doctor, but I'm not sure she should have a child at 48.
all right.
But I also love that she's like found love again, and that sounds really cute. So she sounds like super badass. She sounds like a normal person, like maybe the most normal on the show.
Yes. Agreed. I
And
think
then, but maybe don't have a baby when you're like 48, 49. I don't know. I'm not sure.
well, it's funny you say that because I think she's gotten such fan love because she's just such a breath of fresh air where you're like critically analyzing like as somebody who's like brand new to the scene and you're
Yeah.
like, wait, why are you having kids? Like really
Yeah.
no one talked about that because I
Nobody
think
cares about that because like she's just great.
yes, because everyone's
Oh,
just
okay.
like, thank God, we have new energy in here. What about Jennifer Tilly? Also new.
Love her. I could not figure out her name. She's my favorite person in the whole world. Like who like her I feel like she's a cartoon character.
Yeah, she's so fun.
And
So
I love
she's
when she was like, "My candy's everywhere," and I was like, "Is this like drugs or is it just actual candy?"
no, it's actual candy. She said on the after show she likes to eat late night, like, and don't we all? But she really likes to eat candy late night. So
I
let me
love
tell you
her.
something about her. She's worth an estimated 40 million.
I was wondering, she seems really rich and she seems a very what'd she get her money from?
Her husband created The Simpsons, which she talks about openly,
Oh,
but
no way. Do you know
her
my
ex-husband,
was one of the creator of the symptoms? Oh,
yeah,
Simpsons? Okay, I have to
and,
look this. I have to see who it is.
and he passed away, but she gets his royalty. She gets royalties. So,
Wow,
I
that's
mean, of course,
crazy.
Simpsons are going on and on and on. Anyway, so the big drama with her that is coming out kind of in the headlines is that they don't want her back. The women can't stand
She
her.
was a little boring, but I loved her. I want her to have
Well,
her own show.
and yeah, right. She could talk to a wall. She should have a podcast, please. No, we don't need this more saturated this environment, but she could have a podcast.
Yeah, she could.
Um, but so I was going to say she is not. The women can't stand her because she tries to. The word on the street is she tries to act like this like socialite, American socialite. But the reality is she just took her husband to the cleaners and like walked away with like 30% of his like fortune of Simpsons. So
Before
people
they
like can't
before he
stand.
died.
Yes, before he died, right? So she gets the 30%, the residuals, all that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well,
So we'll see if she comes back.
I don't know what storyline she had because the 4 episodes I watched, she had no storyline except for the candies, but I did like her voice and her
Yeah.
attitude.
She's Sutton's good friend. That's why she's kind
I
of in
see.
the
Okay.
mix. The last person I want to ask you a question on, then we'll move to conspiracy theories, is Kathy Hilton. What are your thoughts there?
That's like the only person I wrote something on. Just Kathy Hilton, just like she obviously thinks she's the queen bee, and maybe she is the queen bee. Is she the richest of them all? Like, where did she
Oh,
get this idea?
big time. She is so the Hiltons or is the Hilton hotel chain.
Yeah.
Like that's her family money, right? And then Kyle and her and Kim Richards, they all grew up kind of as like someone in a child actor family. I think they were the Kardashians before the Kardashians became a big deal.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they had some money, but not as much money as Hilton money.
Right. Then she
Yeah.
married Rick Hilton, and Rick was really the one that kind of, I think, gave
Why
her
is
a full
Kathy
splash
even
down.
there then? If she doesn't need the money, she just wants to be sort of famous.
Well, that's why I think she's in such an odd, weird spot where she's friend of, but they clearly want to see more of her. But
And
she
she's
just like
there all the time.
right, but she just doesn't. She doesn't want to film full time. She flits in and she flits out. So they
Yeah.
keep her as friend of. But the reality is like I'm sure they would give her like the diamond, which is what they
Yeah.
all hold
Right.
at the
Yes.
credits, right? If she actually like wanted to put in the effort on the whole thing.
Right. Exactly. No, I love her because I love how like kind of like above it all she's trying to portray, except she keeps going to all the things. So it's like, are you above it or are you not?
The other thing too with Kathy is she always puts her foot in her mouth, like
Oh,
constantly.
funny. Oh, I didn't see any of that.
And I think everyone just kind of like goes along with it at this point. But truly, she should be canceled. If you were really playing by the rules of culture right now, she should be canceled. To give you an example, she went on Watch What Happens Live, and they threw up a picture of Lizzo, and they said, "Kathy, who is this?" And she said, "Precious," which is wrong on so many
Ooh.
levels, right? Like the movie Precious. It was based off of a book.
That's like an SNL skit about cat. You know what I mean? Like you can't even write that up. Um, okay, that's okay. So I haven't seen her put her foot in her mouth yet, but sounds like she does. My one comment, I watched the first 2 episodes of Beverly Hills.
Mm,
Nothing changed between the first two
yeah.
episodes and the last 2 episodes. It was like the exact same storylines. Something about Sutton and that other woman, what's her name? Dee
Garcelle.
Darcel, yeah. And then also like the stuff about Kyle Richards like not wanting to tell people about some potential country singers and stuff.
Infidelity, yeah, with her husband, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so much. You're right. It's the same thing over and over again. It's to
Yeah.
the point where it's like, come on,
I didn't
ladies.
even feel like I missed anything. It was funny.
Anyway, love it. Let's see. Let's move into conspiracy theories. So Kate has one that she wants to talk about.
Do I go first?
Yeah, sure. But let me just say, we're not going to do what are the kids talking about these days, which is Jessica's segment in honor of her. When we're not
Okay.
going to recreate that. We're not. We
I
can't
probably could do that since I spent my entire life on TikTok. I could like I'd have to think for a second though.
pull some stuff. All right,
Yeah.
you go first in your conspiracy theories, and then I have two quick hits for
So
you.
mine is like a conspiracy theory proved correct this week. Now, I'm still trying to verify my sources because it was all over TikTok, but then there are a few real news articles, but not like that real. It's not like New York Times wrote about it, but they're real websites.
Okay, we only have credible sources on here. We
Okay,
only
yeah,
have the most
exactly.
valid, credible. No, girl,
Okay.
we have just the smallest whiff of something, and I bring it to the
Okay,
podcast.
good.
So it's
So
fine.
there's always been a conspiracy theory. Obviously, there's many around the Great Pyramids in Egypt, but there's always been one that there's something underneath that maybe it's just like the pyramids are actually the top of an obelisk, or there's like something deeper underneath the pyramid. And apparently some scientists in Egypt did like some ground sonar radar thing, and they've discovered there's like these giant columns underneath the pyramid of Giza that it's probably like some structural thing, but they say it was also used as like a well. So there's more information to come, but they can't do like all the excavation they want to because it's obviously the pyramid. But I love that it was a conspiracy theory that was actually proved right.
So if you're Craig, you think that the pyramids were dropped on this earth by aliens, like that.
Right, as do I, actually.
You do. Okay, that was
I
going
mean,
to ask that
Craig and I are very similar in our conspiracy theories.
because you just how are they made? Like you
All of
can't
them, and
tell
they're all
me.
over. And pyramids were like the most common. They're in North America, South America, Mexico. Like they're just everywhere at the same time. It doesn't make sense. It's not how I would build a building naturally.
Right, right. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, because you can't fit in it.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Like I agree with Craig.
Yeah.
What about the moon landing? Do you agree with him on that?
I believe we landed on the moon. I just don't understand why we haven't been back.
I think we landed on the moon. I do not think we filmed it in the way that they.
Oh, yeah. What if they just like forgot to film it? Or like what if they forgot to press record and then they screwed it up? And they're like,
Or they just couldn't make the tech work, which we've seen that
great.
a
Us
lot. And
too.
then
I can barely make a podcast recording work.
right.
So I get it. You're on the
I,
moon. But no, my brother-in-law works in aerospace, building actual rocket ships. And so I feel like I've learned enough that
you
they
know that we
actually
went. We went.
they
That's
actually got to the moon. But they
that's
should
great.
go back.
All right, my two conspiracy theories quickly here. So first, they're both quick hits. Okay, so conspiracy theory number one. I'm not seeing it reported much anywhere, but I did see it once on Instagram. So Beyonce gets album of the year at Grammys for Cowboy Carter. And she's always been kind of the subject of like the award shows where she just always wins, right? She's Queen Bee and like we love her for that. So of course she should. But interesting, her Cowboy Carter tour is having some controversy because it doesn't seem like it's doing well in terms of ticket sales. So one person is saying that the ticket sales have been highly discounted, and and then like her kind of beehive is coming back and saying, no, she's just added shows. That's untrue. So I was doing some Googling. She did just add a show in Vegas, which, fine. That's one city. But if you go on like Chicago and you try and get onto a Beyonce concert, the tickets are like $80 for one person to go. So super, super discounted. And they're saying that the tour is not doing well. So the conspiracy theorists are saying, they're going, how does the tour not do well for album of the year? Like, how are you not selling out shows? So the conspiracy, of course, is that Beyonce paid for that award that Jay-Z and her paid for.
Because of all the Diddy stuff, or just like because she
No, just because I think she took this massive left shift into country,
right.
right? And they wanted to be rewarded for it. They wanted to have it memorialized, right? And I think the reality is that Beyonce always wins. So there's always been this undertone of like, is it a little bit rigged in her favor?
I heard for movies, I don't know if it's the same for Grammys, but like that you basically can have like a PR campaign to the people that make the decisions. And so basically like in the
Interesting.
movie realm, that movie, I don't even know what it's called. I think it starts with an E. Anyway, they said that they spent more marketing doing that PR campaign to get them to win the Oscar than they did on the movie.
I mean, makes
And it
sense.
won the Oscar.
It's
And
not
so
shocking.
I'm wondering if maybe she's just like she always wins because maybe she spends all her money on the PR
Big
campaign.
PR. Big PR.
Also, maybe another theory is that we spent all of our goddamn money on the Taylor Swift concerts. I spent over $1,000 on those tickets. You think I have more money for more concerts?
The one thing I will say though, Kate, is the $80, right? If you're sitting there thinking, well, that's like actually kind of high, that is less than a Giggly Squad ticket for the podcast. I paid like $200 for that thing.
Me too.
So Beyonce is valued less than Giggly Squad at this point. Like that can't be right. You know what I mean?
Can't be right.
There's something going on there. So anyway, all right.
There is
Next
something.
conspiracy.
That's a good one.
Conspiracy theory is Meghan Markle. Have you seen this? She's come out with her new Netflix series called "With Love, comma Meghan," and it's supposed to like I think rehab her image. What she's doing on it is like homemaking. So she's like making things from scratch. She's like making home baskets for her visitors. Very like traditional wife, trad wife, which is a very trendy right now type thing. Well, and it's not landing. Like the show is just not
Oh.
landing. Everyone's like seeing through it. She's just like
It's like
weird.
she's trying to be like Martha Stewart or something.
Yes, right, right. Have you
In an
watched
age
it
where
or?
nobody wants Martha Stewart, and also like she just has to stop doing anything. Anything
Yeah.
she does is going to get criticized.
I know. And have you watched it at all? Have you watched an episode?
I've watched clips on TikTok of people
Right.
bashing her.
Me too. And it's all cringy, so I don't even need to watch episode. I agree with
No,
you.
I can't.
So
Like she
like
making that like that rainbow cutting board, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I saw that on Pinterest 10 years ago too."
well, okay, so the conspiracy is of one of her like things that she made. So she I think films herself making these homemade green waffles for St. Patrick's Day, but then it shows the picture of the waffle iron is not matching the waffle on her child's plate. And there are these dragon waffles for Kellogg's, and the dragon waffles were green, and those matched what was on the kids' plate. So the conspiracy is that basically she didn't actually make the waffle for her kids. Maybe she made it for herself, but she threw the dragon
Yeah.
like Lego Eggo waffles onto their kids' plate, and then tried to like play it off as the ones that she
How did
made.
she not think that someone would not notice those?
The worst part is she also doubles down on it and says she has two different waffle makers, and
And one's
that's
a
how she.
dragon?
No,
I'm sorry.
one was the homemade waffle and one was the dragon like style waffle. It's
No.
not no, it's not a shape of a dragon. It's just a green Lego, I mean Eggo waffle. It's
Sure.
not. So you could kind of maybe believe her, but it's like no, Megan, this is just one was homemade, one was not. You took a picture of the Kellogg's
Also,
frozen
like,
waffle.
isn't that the problem with all of these influencers? Is like anybody who actually has children, I'm like, when on earth
Yeah, right.
can I film myself making something? Do you know I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and we barely get to school at 8. That is 3 hours, and I don't have time to set up my camera and film something. That's
And that would
ridiculous.
be, I feel like you just nailed it, right? Like that would be so much more relatable if Meghan Markle could sit there and like putting together the homemade ingredients, and then at the end of the day, she just slaps the freezer one on her kid's plate. Everyone would go, "We love you, Meghan." But instead,
Right.
she's trying so hard to like be this like Martha Stewart.
Right. I wish I had actually filmed my St. Patrick's morning because I made my son frozen waffles. I heated them like a normal person. And
Yeah.
then I put green sprinkles on them. And he comes down and he goes, "Gross, sprinkles." And I was like, "No, I just made you breakfast with sprinkles and you don't like them." And he was like, "This leprechaun's mean. I don't like sprinkles." And I was like, "Kid doesn't like sprinkles."
Oh my
That's
god.
actually how it goes.
Right. That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
So
And
anyway,
he didn't
not
drink any of the
great.
green milk I made either.
I love
So
that you did all of the green stuff. Listen, so that's not really conspiracy theory, but I mean, people caught it, and I love it because I just think
it's
she's
a
such
good
a
one.
cringeworthy person. But that is it, Kate. Thank you so much for joining us on Conspirareality. Maybe we'll have you back.
In the early days, yes, I'd be happy to come back. I do see that I talk a little bit longer than Jessica, so maybe you can just speed it up so that our listeners don't have to listen for that long. But this was so fun. I love Bravo, and I'll keep watching, Beverly
Yeah.
Hills and see what
So
happens.
let me say, so Southern Charm coming to an end. We're very sad about that, but The Valley is coming to us. So
The
if you
most
don't watch the
depressing show on the planet. I did watch all last season, and I was like, this is show is so depressing. They're all
because
just
they're all
all
divorcing
of their
and
marriages are dissolving.
because of kids, because
Yeah,
of kids.
because
Yeah.
of kids. And I'm like, wait, am I gonna get a divorce? And then,
Yeah.
but I sort of, well, I wonder if they cover the Jack stuff or not.
They 100% they
The
do.
Coke stuff?
100%.
Okay,
Yes.
so, okay, good. Then I'll watch.
All right.
Yeah.
Kate, love you. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you
Yay.
maybe next week. Bye.